All right. What is going on, everybody? I just had a little technical difficulty here. Just getting everybody the link. I goofed up and closed the room. And I don't know if any of them know that they're not on the show right now, but I'm sure they'll trickle in here any second. I just didn't want to be late. And yeah, so it was a busy weekend, huh? Lots of new information. I'll gift you a free quarter pounder if you're on in 30 seconds. I was on. Give me my quarter pounder. There we go. Sorry. When I changed the destination.
What?
Oh, now I got you. There was no audio there for a second.
Quarter pounder. What are you talking about here? What is this?
Did you tell Rex too? There was like when I changed the destination, it like ended the stream. So there's a new link. I sent it in the chat, but he might be like, "Whoa, what happened? I just got kicked out."
I'll send it to him and I'll make sure that
I got him. He's here.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that, Rex. I pressed the wrong button. We're live now. Welcome in, everybody. Anybody get any rest this weekend, or were you all just on the beat the whole time?
I feel like you couldn't look away. I mean, you were working like crazy.
Yeah, this weekend was long, and it kind of just went right in to the next week. And
I had a physical breakdown Saturday night.
Yeah,
where I was like, I was like, I need to do a video, and I can't make it about the whole thing, and I needed to like change topics Sunday, so I just did something completely different. But it was, I just had a massive migraine, massive just like physical, emotional breakdown where I just needed to spend all Sunday just trying to recharge and like trying to like, get my head back in the game here, because it's definitely very challenging times to say the least. And I just needed a day. I still worked. I still did videos, but I still needed a day where I did like meditations, green light, red light therapy, went to the beach, got a massage, and like try to take care of myself as best as I could.
Did you tan your asshole at all?
Actually, I didn't. No butthole tanning. I know you love doing that. I know you're the pioneer of it.
Rex actually taught me about that. He sent me the early teachings that
you're revealing the ancient secrets. You can't talk. Talk about that. I didn't do anything this weekend.
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
I completely tuned out. I couldn't take the news cycle anymore. I mean, I saw when it initially happened, I had to have rewatched that video like 30 or 40 times.
Yeah.
Like that was enough for me. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that video is brutal. It's horrible. I still think that was the exit wound we were seeing. But again, like
I think we'll
every
find
time
out.
I try to go to sleep, every time like this week I try to go to sleep, that image would just like pop up in my head, which is like horrible.
I don't know if this will work for any of you guys, but this kind of worked for me when so I saw something like equally traumatizing. Like I've been very open. Like it was 2 years ago, my dad died. My mom calls me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to the house, he's just dead on the floor. And I couldn't get like that image out of my head for months. Yeah. And like the same thing with the Charlie Kirk video. I consumed more of it than I should have, but much of it was like, oh, maybe it's not, and like.
Yeah, it was all during the beginning. It was all as it was unfolding. Just to try to
I haven't watched it since.
Just to be like, hey, did he make it? Did he not make it? Like what actually happened? So you were watching every little detail, being like, I hope. And then like, yeah.
Well, what I was saying is, what kind of worked for me was to like push it out, and I think this might work with Charlie thing is like really like nothing in that video changes the outcome, and like maybe so I was thinking of my dad, like I was running through all this stuff, and like whatever happened. Like I'm trying to put like that video behind me and just be about the business. I went to a vigil for Charlie yesterday that was like extremely well attended. There were a lot of people, and I don't live in a big conservative area. I don't live in a big state. And there were people there, like I drove 45 minutes to get there, and there were people that drove further to get there.
Wow.
It was just a huge sea of people, and it was like, it was great. Turning Point put it on, and it was a very good tribute, and just seeing like so many people show up. I was hoping to get out of the news cycle a little bit on Sunday, but of course they talked about it in church. Then I had the vigil. So I was like, I wanted to, like, because you can only stare into the abyss so long before it takes you. And like, I did the same thing today, Luke. I did a video on like some big boobed chick effing around and like she brought cocaine into like Saudi Arabia and got 20 years in prison, and everyone's like, oh no. I'm like, you brought drugs into Saudi Arabia? Like, what were you thinking? Like,
But she's an influencer. She can do it, Jeremy.
she's very clearly an OnlyFans girl or an escort, and they keep calling her like an aspiring law student. I was like, every picture I see is her huge fake tits out. I know exactly what goes on. There's a huge trade of women that go to Dubai to get pissed on by Arabs, and they get paid a lot of and pooped on. Yeah, like people think we're kidding. That's a real thing.
No. Yeah,
that's a real
you look
thing.
at all these girls being like, "Look at me hanging out in Abu Dhabi," and I'm like, "Those girls are getting crapped on."
yeah.
It's like you had to pay a very high toll to be there, lady.
Yeah,
so.
we all know somebody's pooping on you. And
if I'm gonna date somebody, I'm like, let's see where they've been. Oh, I'm not kissing that one on the lips.
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to get Rex's take on here, and we'll just go around the horn. Rex, Luke, Hannah, Claire, counterclockwise. There was an article this weekend that came out in the Daily Mail that said the FBI tried to hide the trans identity of Charlie Kirk's suspect's lover after his chilling forward response. Essentially, the article says they tried to cover his trans identity because he was being cooperative. This is the language that they used. What's your first reaction to that, Rex? And do you buy that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if they got the real guy, right? I mean, it all just kind of screams patsy to me. I mean, 30-06, like a bolt action rifle, you're not going to be able to quickly reassemble that and set up on a roof and kill someone with it. I mean, you have to be a crazy good shot. You'd have to be a specialist. You'd have to be an accomplished marksman, right? Like I've killed plenty of deer with that gun, and it's a very hard thing to do.
Isn't it funny how many people are quick to say, like, I made a similar point, and people are like, dude, a 200-yard shot's no big deal for Hunter. I'm like, it actually is. It's a long shot, and
it's downhill. It's downhill. That's
and
the main
downhill.
thing.
Yep. Yeah. So you have to multiply how the bullet's going to drop. It's easy when it's a straight plane because you basically can, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna aim 3 inches over.
Range. It's not a shooting range. That's like taking a shot down a pipeline, which is a very hard thing to do, like at a 45-degree or greater angle. And everything about it, I don't buy it. Why don't we know more about the guy? Why don't we know more about the individual he was in a relationship with? I don't know. It seems like these things happen kind of just with Thomas Crooks, and they go, oh, both his parents are social workers and didn't have any silverware in the house. And then we're expected to.
You have silverware, Rex? You must be living the high life.
Yeah, I got a set from Target, taking care of myself.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the Thomas Matthew Crooks thing. I mean, what 20-year-old has zero online footprint?
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing with this guy.
Probably deleted
he basically had none.
Yeah, let's just be honest. They probably deleted the online footprint, and that's why we haven't seen a lot of it. Now, some marksmen are coming out and saying, no, that was an easy shot. Some people are saying it was a hard shot. I think the incongruency is...
Well, a marksman, It's easy for a marksman.
Well, no, people are saying, no, as someone in the military, like we take those shots all the time. They're pretty easy. But some people are saying it's easy. Some people are saying it's hard. I don't think we even need to argue that. I think we need the full video and the full explanation of what happened here, because the official version of events is that he had a disassembled rifle. He got up there on the roof, assembled it, disassembled it again, then somehow got off of the roof. The video looks kind of weird because it looks like he might have a bag of it. The official version is that he had it in his pants. Then he goes into the woods and assembles it again, and it has the round that was fired still in the chamber after it was assembled and disassembled, and then it somehow is assembled once again and put there. That's the weird aspect of this that I think we need clarification and transparency on and accountability on from the FBI.
But we're not
And
going to get it. We're never going to get that. I mean, Kash Patel will do his little song and dance about Valhalla, and he's on the watch now, and it's all just a giant.
What'd you think of that, Rex? I initially tweeted some kind of disgust about it, and I got a lot of pushback. I didn't care for the back padding. To be honest, the FBI did diddly dick. If everything played out as they said, the guy's dad turned him in. The FBI didn't do diddly dick. The release of right, and the pastor. But I mean, like, the FBI didn't figure out who this was. They released the picture, which anybody could have done, local PD or even campus security. And then he's like, "Oh, we did some. We used aerial assets," and I'm like, "You did nothing, bro. Like, don't take a victory lap now." It felt really weird. And then the Valhalla thing was really cringe.
Well,
but maybe it was an inside thing they had. I don't know.
I mean, just going back to the incident, what happened? How does the security team and like we have or InfoWars, we have really had good high level private security since like 2017, 2018, because of the volume of death threats and terror threats that place gets on a routine basis. Why don't you have a $400 drone in the air? Why don't you have something checking the roof, especially after the Trump thing? And the argument I've heard people make is, oh, it's not the Secret Service. How could they be expected to be that professional? He had a team of like really serious ex-military, ex-police, ex-special forces people protecting him. And it's just like,
Secret Service in a lot of cases too.
Yeah. And it's just, didn't cross the T's and dot the I's. It's wild to me. And with Kash Patel, I mean, when these people just lie to us on a routine basis, i.e. the Epstein files and whatnot, and then they come out and it's kind of just like this brave, bold-faced narrative of, it's kind of just red meat for the base. It's we'll see you in Valhalla, we'll keep the watch. And I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest.
What do you think, Hannah Claire? Do you think, well, first about the, not talking about the trans thing, but like also the kind of the dog and pony show. By the way, that governor also got a lot of blowback because Charlie Kirk hated him. And he was like,
hated him, but they also, am I wrong in thinking that the governor at one point had been like, Charlie texted me to say he had arrived in Utah earlier that day? I mean, or was that a senator from, I could be mixing it up. There were so many people sharing their contact with Charlie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Charlie was critical of the governor. That's within his rights. I also appreciate the governor still taking this seriously. Like, you don't have to be upset because someone criticized you. So there's lots to like unpack here. It does seem like the FBI and law enforcement on the state and local level seem to have some kind of discord and disagreement, and that's where I become fearful about accuracy in the information that's being released. I mean, Kash Patel said against recommendations, we released the images, and then Spencer Cox went on News Nation and was like, we never recommended that they didn't release it. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, he didn't say verbatim like that. But there seems to be some kind of
it? That's so weird.
Like, why are you both spinning different narratives if we're all on the same side? The Kash Patel, is an interesting person. There have been a lot of moments throughout his tenure in his current position that I have been sort of raised eyebrow at, let's say. The Valhalla thing struck me very weird. I know it's an internet thing. I know people talk about this. It is a Norse pagan reference, and it seems weird that you would say that to the
Charlie Kirk didn't believe in that. Yeah.
Right. But like, people who are conservative online still reference it. So like, it's hard to totally say it. It did seem a little bit like reaching when it came from Kash, but it's not the biggest sin committed by the FBI during this investigation, in my opinion.
Mike Cernovich has a very interesting kind of take on this. He's talking about how potentially there was FBI agents in the Discord. That's his kind of theory. Now, he hasn't proven it, but it would go along with what the FBI has been kind of doing, radicalizing a lot of mentally ill people and trying to get them to commit acts of terrorism. They have a history. No, they have a history of doing that. And there's multiple parents who had mentally disabled children who couldn't make friends, who are saying, hey, this FBI undercover agent was goading my mentally ill son to commit these violent acts. Those are actual things that happened here. Now, I want to believe in Kash Patel, but there was a couple mistakes made here. One, saying we got him when they didn't. This weird, as you just said so well, Hannah,
Claire.
B.
It's funny because he like pauses now because he knows it's wrong and he's doing it anyways. Okay, go on with your point there. loot.
But as you just mentioned, the whole conversation about this, like, I was told not to release the photo. I mean, who was telling you that? That just doesn't make any sense here. And Kyle Seraphin just posted, and then also Kash Patel tweeting, Donald Trump praises Kash Patel. And I'm like,
That was weird.
okay, now's not
I hate it.
It's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Now's not the time.
The Fox headline talking about the roommate and romantic relationship. Like, but could you just put this in a press release if it's so official?
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Rex? Sorry. Go ahead.
I just, the whole like Valhalla thing, it sticks out to me because it's very dude bro. It's very like culture war-y. It's very, just like red meat, tough American flag t-shirt. Like that's what it screams me. We'll stay down here and watch, brother. You enjoy the skies. Like, come on, man.
I hated that. Okay. I got a fellow hater here. I can openly say that made me physically recoil when he said it. I was like,
what did he say?
Weird.
It was bad.
I mean, it's just like these people, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I mean, I've watched Dan Bongino for a decade. He was doing InfoWars spots back in 2012, longer than a decade, actually, right? I mean, he used to, on occasion, host the Fourth Hour. And though I guess just when you get involved with government, when you get in these big positions, you toe the line of whatever they ask you to do. And whatever happened here, there's definitely some secret agenda that we don't understand, and they're being told to push a certain narrative. That's all I see. And as far as the trans thing goes, it's all too perfect, right? It's all too perfect. We got very clear motivation, or so they say. The trans doesn't like the Charlie Kirk, and the Charlie Kirk doesn't like the trans, and this is why this happened. And no, don't look at anything else. I just don't believe it. This
is the official story that the FBI kept the photos of the suspect for 12 hours without releasing it, and then Kash Patel allegedly had to get involved in order to personally release it. Who's the one that was not trying to release this video or this photo? Hold them accountable if we're going to have a competent agency here, and then release all the data, release all the information as soon as possible.
By the way, just in case, Rex, I want to give you a chance here before we before we get off and running. I know you've got you're working on some new stuff coming out, right? Your new setup, new show. Tell the people where they can find you and where they can follow you and what you got coming up.
For sure. Well, I really appreciate it. So you can follow me, of course, at Rex Jones News with a Z on Twitter. That's REXJONESNEWZ on Twitter. I've got a few different shows coming out. It's taken me a long time. I have a full-time job outside of this where I have a supplement company, I have a warehousing and fulfillment company, and that takes up a lot of my time. But I've got Rex at Dawn, which will be 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I've got The Gray Area, which is the only show that's currently out. Episode 1 is currently out, and it's linked on my profile. You can go find it with me and my co-host, Tim Tompkins, and that's kind of more a geopolitical, global news, global event show. And then I'll be doing Tomorrow's News Tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. after Alex's time slot on InfoWars. But that won't be an InfoWars show. That's another independent venture. It's just going to be right after that. So
where can they find that?
Well, see, this is the thing about being unprofessional, right? Just follow me on Twitter and then follow The Gray Area and watch that first episode, and more will come out. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you guys.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. Now, maybe you can get your dad to recognize the difference between me, Salty Cracker, and Nerdrotic. He is under the assumption that we're...
Sometimes.
What's that?
He suffers from face blindness sometimes, that and dyslexia. He's pretty bad at spelling. So.
Oh, great. I was making a joke.
Oh,
and
now
you made me
fun of a
feel bad.
disabled guy,
now you made fun of me. Yeah, now you made me feel bad. No, I love
you
Alex.
should feel bad, Nerdrotic. How dare you?
Yeah, come on, Salty Cracker. Get out of here.
Yeah, all right. You guys stop.
You guys all look the same. You guys are like all neckbeards from like middle America. Like, okay, I don't blame Alex. I blame you guys. Like, all right, shave a side of your beard. Everyone gets a side.
I'm gonna have to lose the beard. Yeah. So what do you guys make of? I really want to kind of stay on this. We've seen the photos of like the FBI kneeling. We've seen I mean, I have really lost faith in Kash Patel. I mean, we've talked about it on the show. Luke and I have been a little maybe harder than many. Luke, especially in his Luke private chat, sending me Kash Patel memes that are very offensive, and he's unafraid to post.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
nice
it all
denial.
goes.
Smooth.
Yeah, it all goes back to the 1,000-yard stare when they were on Fox News. Ever since that day, my thing is if Kash was on the show right now and not on a friendly Fox Good Morning show or whatever, I would say, is this true? Did you try to block this guy's trans identity? And if so, who did it and why aren't they fired? Like, if everything's true, okay, you can, like, if you can live in the world where everything they've told us is true, okay, it's a trans shooter connected to a trans network of other whatever's, you know, if all of that's true, if the narrative is true, then why in the hell would you hide this? And if it was hidden, why haven't you fired those people? We all know that there are like ideologues in the FBI. This is undeniable. There are ideologues in the military. We see them getting fired and deranked and kicked out of the military, you know, and like everyone's just like moving on. It's like, yeah, the FBI tried to hide. By the way, this is what I think. This is why I think it's bigger than what a single headline has been on the Daily Mail about it. When I talked to somebody about the release of that initial ATF leak, which Stephen Crowder is now being subpoenaed over. Wow. Several people mentioned that they were pissed because of the trans stuff was in there. And that was before I ever knew this. This was whatever day that was, whatever day I called you, Luke. Like, Thursday. What was it? Thursday? That's what I was being told at 6 a.m, is that they were pissed about, they didn't want the trans stuff to come out. And then now this story, a week later, 5 days later, that they tried to hide that. Now, again, if you believe the narrative, the everything as true, which I'm, I'm probably the opposite side of Rex, like I'm more of a normie. If I believe all this is true and this is just another trans radical killing white Christians, then somebody should be fired for that. Like, don't you think like you're withholding evidence? Like, let's say, Rex, that this is true. What's your reaction to that? Like, if the FBI is really hiding stuff, like, shouldn't Kash Patel be rooting that out?
Well, I mean, it's par for the course, right? I mean, he killed himself.
Right. He did that. Yeah, I saw
on my desk, as Pam Bondi said. I mean, everything these people say, I just like, all right, but I'll buy into it for a second. I'll
play a game with me. Yeah.
I'm entering Chud. I'm channeling the Chud. I'm entering it. I mean, maybe they just don't want, kind of a really bad domestic situation where people get all riled up, and maybe moderate elements of, like, when I say moderate, I mean like more left-leaning elements of the Republican Party or the administration or the government are kind of trying to, they see this as a hot button topic, a hot button issue. But I also just, if that was true, I mean, they got a lot of things they need to distract from right now, right? Like the Ukraine war, the Gaza situation, Trump's
the Ukrainian woman who got murdered on the train.
Yeah, Ukrainian woman. So it would make sense to, like, oh, you have the perfect thing here, right? You have the trans person killing the, like the figurehead of really like young conservatism, at least the college movement. And like, that would be the #1 story. It's the perfect distraction, but they don't release anything. It's very weird, right? Because both my hypothesis and your hypothesis don't work, right? Because like, why would they? Why would they conceal this information? Why would they hide it? It's kind of the perfect narrative for them, especially if it was true. Like, if it was true, it's really, it's a favor to the administration in some ways. That's how I see it, because it would be something they could hang their hat on and maybe even run on in the midterms, like, we have to be here to provide order and security because we got these radicals, hunting down our own kind. So
it's what won Trump the election. Right. That was his most powerful ad. I'll kick it to you, Hannah Claire, 1 second. It was her most powerful ad in Battleground and for the last month. Kamala's, he's for you, Kamala's for they, them. That was the ad they ran. The men and women's bathrooms. That was it. That's what, that was the one of the biggest factors. So yeah, Hannah Clark, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say when they announced that the roommate, boyfriend, whatever, was cooperating, and then there was this report that they had potentially tried to conceal parts of this person's identity from public view, it just made me really anxious that they had offered some kind of deal, like this person's going to go into witness protection, this person's going to disappear, and that's why, maybe I know Rex doesn't agree, he's playing our game here, but maybe we could say that the nicest thing was that they're trying to prevent, an identity related riot in the streets. But for me, it's like, this person is going to disappear and actually be back out there. And that to me is worse, because my thought is that this person is involved or had prior knowledge to what was going to happen. And again, like Tyler Robinson is alleged. He hasn't been convicted. He appears in court tomorrow. But if he is the guy, I don't think that he acted in complete secrecy and totally alone.
What do you say, Rex?
He's saying he's innocent. He's saying, according to some of the sources out there, that he didn't do it, that it's not him. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this unfolds. There's a video now of Kash Patel talking about a now self-destroyed note that allegedly he has. This is getting weirder and weirder.
Luke, that's dude. I'm gonna kick it right back to you so you could talk about, like, when he said there was a note. What you need to hear is manifesto, and that manifesto, he said, was destroyed. Well, who destroyed it? The roommate. If again, we're following what is public. The roommate destroyed the manifesto, and now
or the FBI did,
or the FBI did. Someone destroyed it, and now the FBI is like, "Well, we were able to figure this out through our interrogation." I'm like, really? Okay, let's say Normie Jeremy's right, and it was a manifesto espousing trans radical ideology, and then I killed Charlie Kirk for my troon boyfriend. Why is that hidden? Like, go ahead, Luke. Sorry, yeah. I'm so worked up about it because, like.
No, go ahead. I think we should listen to this video of Kash Patel explaining it himself. I put it in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm brought
and it's definitely just this whole thing's just becoming weirder. And again, all I want is accountability, transparency. I know a lot of us are blackpilled here, but I still think we should have a respectful, coordinated voice saying, "Hey guys, release whatever you have, release everything. We need to find out what happened here. We need to make sure it never happens again." The only way to do that is to be as transparent and as honest and as open as we can here. There's a lot of conspiracy theories floating around here, and those conspiracy theories are only going to fester and grow the more you keep hiding information and not being fully transparent and fully accountable to exactly what's going on here.
By the way, when I was at the Charlie Kirk Vigil yesterday, which had about maybe 1,000 people at it, there were multiple drones in the air from local police. Like, why didn't Charlie Kirk have that? I feel like I talked to Crowder even, and like he was talking about why he stopped doing Change My Mind. This isn't to blame them, but it's like, fuck, man, you can get one of those things for like $300 and look at the rooftops. It should be like, especially after Butler, like that wasn't done. You have an entire
thing you do. Yeah.
Say that again.
That should be like the immediate protocol. It should be the first thing any one of these people do. I mean, I know we do it. That's why I'm surprised by it.
Yeah.
I think they should have done it. I think there are questions, and I'm sure, a lot of people are asking his private security detail what happened. But if I can offer sort of an overly simple, suggestion here, he was in Utah, which is a red state, around people that I don't think he was fearful of. Whereas in September, he was supposed to go to Dartmouth, so a lefty campus, and debate Hassan. I would think that if you're his security person, you think that you're going to get rushed by protesters, and it's more likely to happen when you're in hostile territory. It's not an excuse. It doesn't make anything okay. Obviously, after Butler, I think a lot of people are fearful of these types of attacks, and so we can wish there had been more, but it might have been as simple as like they didn't think there were as many threats because of where they were.
Yeah, it's you're probably not wrong, but and not that
it doesn't sit well. It's awful.
Yeah,
but
like you can get a DJI drone and program it to just go in a square. Even I can do that. Yeah. And you just sit and watch the screen. You have one fucking guy. Like, if they had done that, Charlie Kirk would be alive today. Like,
but that's in hindsight.
If they had done that an hour beforehand, he'd be alive. They'd be like, "There's a guy on the roof." You know what I mean? Like, he never would have came out. But yeah, you could say the same thing about Butler. Here's that video.
Written note, did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say, if you could share?
So what I'm able to say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe, what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, "I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what...
You know what that probably is? He wrote it on a Post-it note, and then they did like a pencil imprint underneath. I'm guessing that's what it was. But again, why isn't his trans partner in prison? He destroyed evidence. Like, he very obviously destroyed evidence to protect his boyfriend murderer. And now the FBI's like, yeah, but we're going to protect his identity because he's cooperating. Give me a fucking break. Like, either Rex is right or I'm right. But in both scenarios, none of this makes sense.
Well, look at Cash. It's a very expensive suit Cash has got on, and a very expensive tie, too. That's like a $4,000 or $5,000 suit.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've bought enough of them. I can tell. Why would you even go and open your mouth, bro? Why would you go on Fox News and like spew word salad garbage about this thing that you have, but then you don't have it, and you might release it, and then maybe you're not going to release it? I mean, it's either witness protection or it's like grander narrative. I don't know. I don't know why I don't understand why the Trump administration, kind of just like with the Epstein thing, if you're going to push this narrative that, oh, he killed himself or whatever, unalive, self-deleted, I think those words are much worse. So I just say,
it's all right.
Yeah.
We're mostly on Rumble. Yeah.
So if this is the narrative that's going to be pushed, I mean, why would you even speak? Why wouldn't you just shut your mouth?
Right. Like, what are you talking about? Well, there are no files to release. It's like they created this problem for themselves. Like, if you had just said he killed himself, that's the end of it, then why did you say you're going to release the Epstein files and not release them?
Right.
I think in some ways this isn't an exact parallel to the Epstein files, though, because it's an evolving situation. Like, I am curious to see what happens when Robinson appears in court tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what information comes out. I totally understand.
They say there's going to be a bunch, Hannah Claire.
I mean,
they say all of this stuff's going to be clear at the charging. They're going to lay out
I don't know about
tomorrow.
all of that, but like, I think there will
That's
be
what the
more
message is.
information.
Yeah.
It's totally totally reasonable to be questioning the FBI, to be questioning whoever is saying they have information. But it's rapidly evolving even now, and I am willing to wait a little bit longer to see what comes out, because eventually it looks like this is headed to trial, right? I mean, he is saying he didn't do it. Pardon?
No shot. I know what you're
You
saying.
don't think so?
Oh, I mean, I know. Yes, it does. It is being proceeding like it's, but there's no way. Like, there's no way there's a trial. I will no shot. I'll shave my beard off if we get a guilty verdict.
Look, you know how disappointed I've been about people taking plea deals recently.
Right,
I need a trial this year.
Yeah,
we probably won't get it for a year or two. But the reality
he'll take a plea deal for life in prison right now. I'm telling you. You heard it here first. There will be no trial. I wouldn't be surprised. But as of right now, he's saying I didn't do it. So that again, looks like we'd be headed towards a trial, which means that the government has to put on a case and say, this was his motivation, here's what's going on. And that information is generally available to you. You can get a hold of it. So it's a weird time, but with the Epstein stuff, that spans several decades, right? Like, the fact that there is still not concrete evidence, that they're always teasing stuff, it feels different to me because it's been such a long time. Whereas all of this, basically, we're not even a week into this yet.
Yeah, a lot of people are very doubtful because of the Epstein stuff, and they have every right to be doubtful of the FBI and their competency and their ability to actually investigate this. And this is why I've been saying from the very beginning, even before, I mean, now we're finding out they were holding on to the photo of the suspect for 12 hours. Why were you wasting 12 hours? Like, who did that? Who made that decision? Hold them accountable. Let's go. That already is such a major letdown here. And I think we're going to be let down
cash,
more.
Luke? Isn't it? Doesn't this? If heads don't roll underneath cash, isn't it cash?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen a lot of promotions that are also very strange, specifically when it came to one of the major prosecutors of the J6ers that was extremely brutal to them. That also happened under Cash as well here. So listen, they need to just be as transparent as they can. I think there's a possibility there could be a trial here because of the way that things are shaping up here. Now, the FBI also says that they have allegedly DNA analysis and that they have an forearm and palm imprint allegedly of the suspect as well. We'll see.
They said they've matched the towel, DNA on the towel.
Yeah,
which
we'll see what the
sweat.
transferee guy has to say as well. But
why isn't he being arrested? He admitted to destroying evidence.
But maybe he will be. Like if Robinson's getting indicted first, I wouldn't be surprised if other people follow, specifically the roommate boyfriend, but also, you know, anyone else who it turns out had information about what was going on. Again, it doesn't seem like this was something this 22-year-old planned in secret.
No. What do you make of Rex? Now, sometimes, I don't know, there's a term for it that people smarter than me know, so any one of you might know it, but like, there's like this, sometimes people are like, oh, they predicted the future, but it was really like unrelated. But what do you make of like, there's also this narrative that, well, there was a network, which, I mean, again, if you accept the official narrative, which I am currently, I do not accept, he absolutely didn't work alone. And his trans boyfriend absolutely, positively knew. The people in his Discord absolutely knew too. But what do you make of these? There's about a half dozen or so accounts that seem to be pretty confident that something was going to happen that day. What do you think that's going to go anywhere? Or is that going to just be like, well, it was just these random tweets that didn't, you think they're going to go down that road at all?
I think it's the latter. I think it's what you just said. I mean, I'm bringing it back to the guy that tried to kill the president. Why don't we know more about him? I just think that in like 2-3 months, it'll be expected that the new narrative will be like, there's a big war in Iran. There's something going on. You know, we don't have any more developments on this, guys. So
I do think we already know more about this guy than we do about Crooks. So, I mean, Crooks, they were like, he never had any social media presence at all. Whereas at least this guy's mom was like posting up a storm. We have no idea what Crooks was up to. We know at least some things about this guy. And, you know, I guess that's a whole other question about the families and what happened to the Crooks' parents, social workers who had very weird house, I guess, but it does feel slightly different for me. And to that, I credit the fact that we are not under the Biden administration anymore. It doesn't mean the FBI is cured. I mean, Luke was talking about this earlier. There are promotions. It seemed like there was a need to clean house that maybe was not completed by the time this happened. And
never even started.
To me. Right. Because
remember when Elon was like, hey, what's going on? And the first thing Kash Patel did was tell them, the FBI, to ignore their request. That was basically his first official act. And that was kind of like
about the job survey, like what do you spend your time doing?
Yeah. And like
he was like, we're not going to have any accountability here.
We're not having any. Yeah.
Well, no, he said, I'm going to handle it, which is a question of like, okay, so then did you?
Yeah. Clearly not.
Yeah.
You know,
what do you guys, I want to shift gears a little bit. I only want to, we'll hang around. I try to only keep, Rex is being very generous with his time. And so I want to, again, remind you guys to go follow him on X at Rex Jones News with a Z. He's got a couple new shows coming out. And he's really plugged in to a lot of stuff. And I'm thankful you're here. I wanted to shift. I'm going to get all the super chats and stuff after the first hour. What do you guys make? I'll start with Rex. My position is, because I'm not as battle hardened as Rex and Luke and probably Hannah Claire. I'm still just kind of a bumpkin. I feel like if the narrative is true, okay, we're operating on this assumption. Even let's take this assassination out of it. We clearly have a left-wing violence issue. They keep killing Christians. And I think that the change will come from one of two ways. One will be very bad, and it will be Tim will finally get his civil war. What that looks like, I don't know. But at some point, you're going to have roaming vigilante groups killing trans people, killing woke people. Like it's going to be that bad, and I don't want that. The real solution, I believe, is that society starts to reject this 2, 3, 4% of people that are very, very aggressive. And so like, that's why I have changed my mind on the firings and the mass witch hunts. I'm 100% for it. These people are losing their jobs. It's not that big a deal. They'll go get another job, but at least people have to stand up and say, no, I don't want to get my coffee from somebody who thinks a guy getting shot in the neck is funny.
Right.
I don't want that. That's the way that this actually gets fixed without bloodshed. And so what do you guys make of, I'll start with Rex and we'll go back around, of this kind of push that there's supposed to be a big database coming out. Certainly hundreds of people have been fired already. I feel callous to it. I'm like, this is better than the alternative. But what do you make of this kind of pretty aggressive push going on right now?
Well, I mean, it's very sick. The narrative of what happened, besides the reaction and response from, you say 2, 3, 4%. I have to say it's probably like, 8, 9%. I think it's a lot higher than that. We've got some really sick people here in the country, whether it's people celebrating the girl getting stabbed on the train or people celebrating this event, people going, okay, this person said things I don't disagree with or that I do disagree with, instead of, passionately disagreeing with him or giving my own opinion. I'm just happy that he got shot, and you kind of like do a little dance or a TikTok stream or whatever. It's indicative of where we are, because people don't understand that reality and actions have consequences. They just think that life exists on the phone and that the internet is, it's all fun, happy time, but it's not. And what's seriously concerning about all of this, whatever we think about the official narrative of the event, is that this is the exact type of thing that inspires copycats, right? Because people, they want to get their 15 minutes of fame. You look at Luigi Mangione and the reaction to him killing the United Healthcare CEO. I mean, that was disgusting. And you definitely had like a sizable minority of people that were not only pro that, but were pro that as kind of an ideology. They wanted to run on that, so to speak, not for office necessarily, but they made a large portion of their political identity like, oh, we need another Luigi. We
Hassan Piker, guys like that, right?
Yeah, it's very, very disgusting, very sick. I've been very happy to see, not happy to see him do it, of course, because it's very sad, but happy to see that he had some integrity as a human. Dean Withers crying on stream, after the incident. Cenk Uygur coming out and advocating a message of nonviolence. I have a lot of disagreements with both those people, but it gave me a lot of respect for him. It also showed me that, maybe we're not too politically far gone. I think that the celebration of violence is often done by people that have the least understanding of what violence actually means or is, right? You have kind of these like Starbucks blue hair creatures that advocate for it and want to act all tough. And they say they're tankies, they're communists, and like, we got our guns too, it's not just for you right-wing people. And the right-wing people have their guns for like self-defense and hunting and to resist a tyrannical government. These people on the far left, they seem to have guns in order to, oppress people. That's really what I hear and see from them, right? So you see all these like anti-fascist gun clubs and whatnot, where you got people, saying they're going to fight against the patriarchy, fight against the American government, not fight against the American government for being unconstitutional, but fight against the American government for, being anti-insanity at a certain level. Because
whatever they're,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just say that, right. I mean, it's like right wingers go to the gun range and like shooting their guns. These left wing are going to the gun range and they're fantasizing about shooting right wingers.
Well, it's a power fantasy, right?
Yeah.
It's a power fantasy. They're getting off on it, and that's like that's very concerning.
Luke, I've invoked Hannah Claire's talk about. We talk her position on abortion. Like, we don't need to litigate to get less abortions. I mentioned this in a video, and I gave you credit for the quote. It's like, society needs to shame these people who are using abortion as healthcare. That's how you really change shit. And like, I mean, what do you make of what's going on now, Luke? Are you conflicted about people getting fired for celebrating this? I'm numb to it, but I'm also open to being told that maybe I'm being a little emotional.
Yeah. The level of just insanity that we're seeing, I think, is at an all-time high. I've seen even like friends of mine, people that I considered friends of mine, celebrating this in very sick, twisted ways. There's even major left-wing. Oh, no, it's not even that person. It was other people. That person was just like a random person that I was like, who the hell is this? But there's another left-wing kind of big time major influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers that I'm talking to, that I'm trying to, talk sense to, that was spreading fake images, fake videos, fake AI renderings, fake news, being like, oh, he's a right-wing guy. There's a new poll highlighting how 25% of Americans believe that the Charlie Kirk assassin was a Republican.
Yep.
That is an insane amount of people.
And they will never be lower than probably 20, right? Like some amount of that will just be locked in forever.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's a massive effort by a lot of crazy left-wing media accounts being like, no, he's a Republican. We don't need to take a personal responsibility. We don't need to take a look inward into what we're doing and what we're causing here. They're just doubling down. And in many instances, you just can't have conversations with these people. A lot of people are like, no, he's a groiper. I'm telling you. I'm like, what evidence do you have of this?
Go on Blue
Nothing,
Sky.
They're going to choose to believe
all
it.
think you go on Blue Sky. It's like 100% of people stating as fact that he was a groiper, without any evidence, like none, just Photoshop pictures.
And I'm trying to talk to these people, because some of these people I've known throughout the years, and I'm trying to talk them down, and I'm trying to make them see, like, hey. No, you're just choosing what you want to believe instead of actually believing the information in front of your own eyes and ears. So I'm at a situation where I think the situation can't be healed. I want it to be healed. I need it to be healed. As a country moving forward, we desperately need to move forward in a cohesive kind of organized way. But instead of saying, I'm sorry this happened, let's figure out how to make sure this never happens again. Let's try to figure out the bad apples who are a danger to you. They're saying, no, you're still the problem. You're the one who hurt yourself. And I'm like, there's no going back from this. There's no healing this. And that is truly dangerous because political violence is extremely contagious. And I think right now we need to be doing everything to try to prevent it from spreading and growing. But sadly, the left, instead of actually being responsible here, they're just saying, no, you did it. You did it to yourself, which is a retarded supposition.
Yeah, Luke, that's a great point. As I kick it to Hannah Claire here, like, right, I mean, what happens after the talking stops? History tells us. And when we're seeing like I think, so Sam Hyde put out an incredible video this morning. Sam's a friend of mine. I don't care if you don't like him. He's my friend. I don't agree with everything he says either, but he's still my friend. And he put out a video where he basically said like the next 2 weeks in America could define the future of this country. Now, maybe, it's not 2 weeks, it's 2 months, but it is, I believe, completely true. And because there is only two possible outcomes. And I too, like Luke, believe that it's not about talking to these people anymore. It's about excising them from the community. Now, I don't mean that's not a veiled I'm talking about shaming them, having them be fired, having their life, say society rising up and saying, no, we're not going to say that. I don't want you at my Thanksgiving if you think it's okay that Charlie Kirk got killed. I don't want our kids playing together if you think it's okay that Charlie Kirk got killed. Like, and I don't want you working.
Mourning and respect, not spitting on the grave and aiding and abetting this type of disrespectful action.
It's not like this guy was Bin Laden or like or Hitler or something, like literally Hitler, you know?
Well, and you're saying like they are saying it's okay. Some of them are saying it's good, like more than okay.
More of
They're
it,
excited about it, which is gross. I mean, the challenge whenever we talk about the firings or like cutting ties with people is this is what the left has done for a long time. I mean, I know tons of conservative people. I know tons of people who are anti forms of immigration who have been debanked. They have been kicked off platforms like MailChimp because of their stance. And it's like left-wing companies have been doing this forever. I don't think it's unreasonable that the right would maybe do it as well. What the problem becomes is like I get concerned about the complete paranoia that could come with that. I think that you need to be clear about what you're tolerant and what you're okay with, but also not rely on just unpersoning someone. And I don't mean that in a violence way. I mean that in a like taking away their ability to use a bank way. I don't think you should support people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, but I don't want our society to completely fall apart. I don't think that we would be able to sustain a they live over here and you live over here kind of mentality, partially because we're all interwoven.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. If this was a right-wing assassin taking out a major left-wing figure, how would the right respond? Totally the complete opposite of how the left has responded. It would be everyone saying, holy cow, never again. Let's root this out and make sure that we give our condolences and we try to stop this from escalating. And there would have been a total moment where we would take a moment to self-reflect and be like, okay, let's stop this from ever happening again.
Oh, remember when Candace Owens denounced the Christchurch shooter because he mentioned her in his manifesto? I mean, this does happen where conservative people,
Brendan Herrera
are like, I'm not a part of this. I do not support what happened. You know, Rex mentioned a little while ago the idea of inspiring copycats, and I have been thinking about that a lot because of the messages carved on the bullets, which was also the case with the Annunciation school shooter.
The last two or three, yeah.
Right. Like, is there an Etsy seller for this skill? Are you all just ordering kits and doing it? Like, what is going on? There's obviously a trend amongst these types of people who are prone to this type of violent attack. And I want that to be the focus, and I want to get rid of that from our society.
Rex, I want to get your take here, and then also remind the people where they can find your stuff. But you say what you were going to say before, and then let them know where they can find your stuff, and I'll let you get out of here because I know you're very, very busy.
For sure. Well, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate getting to spend the time with you guys. I mean, I have a very personal opinion on this after seeing what my father was put through, really what all of us at InfoWars were put through between 2018 and, you know, up to modern day. Sadly enough, we still haven't gotten justice. I don't believe in debanking anyone. I don't believe in platforming anyone. Now, however, sorry, my dog just walked in.
Yes,
however, at the same
bring
time,
the dog on camera.
No, he can't come on camera. He's too big. He'll mess up the studio. He'll knock over the camera. That being said, I don't believe in deep banking. I don't believe in deplatforming. However, I'm an employer, right? Like, I have employees, I have a payroll, I have people that I've hired to do a job for me, specifically in like a warehousing context, right? So if I had an employee that was pro this event, was celebrating this event online, I would take it into consideration and go, okay, I have a potentially violent individual here, and I don't think that I want my customers to be around this person. I don't want this person to damage product. I don't want this person to poison product. And, you know, if they would laugh at an event like this, I would fire them. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's totally within bounds to contact employers about public speech that people are giving in reference to a horrific public event, in reference to a murder, and go, hey, you know, I really think that you should take a look at this and decide whether or not it fits your company's mission statement and core values to have this person as an employee. I don't believe in deplatforming, debanking, like I said, but I mean, that's fair game. That's how I see it.
Well, isn't it that
100%. If you believe in abortion, or if you don't believe in abortion, you shouldn't be fired or debanked because of that. But if you believe in murder and killing people and celebrating it and spitting on people's graves, you're a disgusting demon that deserves to be rooted out from civil society.
Well,
you just can't trust people like that to do a job that involves, like, specifically like retail customer service. I mean, if someone's willing to say that type of stuff, what if they're in a customer service job for you? What if they just go off on somebody and you get sued? Right.
Well, what
if they're a doctor or a dentist, right? And you're right wing, and they know you're right wing, they're going to try to hurt you, probably.
Not to make anybody scared, but before I give Rex the mic here to shout out his shows, one of the scariest things for me is just how many people are saying it out loud. You know, the number of people who are thinking or who are saying it publicly, the people who are thinking and saying it privately, what, 4, 5, 6x that? Like, there's a real problem here. Rex, thanks we're going to stay live, but I'm going to let Rex get on with his day. Rex, where can people find your content? How can they follow you and see what you're up to?
For sure. Well, I really appreciate the time with all you guys. I hope I can come on the show with you guys again, possibly for longer. I've just got a couple of events coming up today. If you're interested in me or just want to hear what I have to say, or, you know, just give me a follow at Rex Jones News with a Z on Twitter. That's Rex Jones News. And I'd really appreciate that. I've got 3 shows coming out. We've got one already out called The Gray Area. And that's between me and my co-host, Tim Tompkins. That's more a geopolitical global news show. We cover the economy, tariffs, and we're both business owners. So if you want to get into more of the financial side of things, follow me at The Gray Area. But we've got other shows coming out, and just follow me on Twitter at Rex Jones News. I really appreciate the time with all y'all today.
Yeah, Rex, thank you so much. Rex. I heard nothing but great things from all the people around your circle and the InfoWars staff, and you're a great kid, and you're awesome, and I definitely appreciate the time you had with us.
Great to be on, guys.
You'll have to come back on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime, dude. Have a good one, man.
Thank you. God bless.
Yep. I want to get to a couple of before I do this super chats and stuff, why don't you guys do your shout outs? Let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on as I pull these up.
Sure. You can find my work on Rumble and YouTube. It's Hannah Claire B in both places. I'll have a video up today talking about Charlie Kirk. It took me a little while to put one together because it's just such a sad thing to talk about. And I don't know. I think there are a lot of people wanting to balance how much they're consuming, which I respect. But I'll have a video up talking about Charlie Kirk later today. It's Hannah Claire B on YouTube, Rumble, and I'm also Hannah Claire B on X. Thanks as always to you guys who have already supported me.
Yeah, it's been hard doing any type of self-promotion. Like I have to like force myself to be like, okay, can you guys subscribe? And I'm like, I even feel bad for
I didn't
doing
do
that.
I didn't do any last week, but this week it's like this story is going to be going on for months. So, I think I'm
looking at my bills and I'm looking at my inventory and I'm like, crap. So if you want to support me, you can, youtube.com/wearechange. I'll put it in the chat room right now so you guys could go there and subscribe. I just did a video about the Poland-Russian type of dangerous escalatory situation. I'm releasing a video in a few minutes about Max Blumenthal's conversations about how Trump is allegedly afraid of Israel. I'm going to do another one about Dave Smith's comments and a lot of the conspiracies surrounding these events and debunking some of them and then talking about which ones are the actual credible ones. There's a lot of fake news out there. I see a lot of people fall for fake news. I see a lot of people sharing a lot of fake AI images out there. And a lot of them are my friends and I keep calling them out respectfully.
I've done a lot of that in the DMs. Yeah. I'm like, this is fake, dude. This is fake. Like,
yeah, you got to walk that fine line of like not falling for fake news because you want to believe it, but then calling out the fake news. But then if there are legitimate questions, you have to ask them. That's what we're doing here in light of what is a very drastic, emotionally hyped situation that's not very easy to deal with. So youtube.com/wearechange. I'll put it in the chat. Once again, I really appreciate all of the time. And I've been working to my detriment there. So go check it out.
Yeah. And by the way, if you just tuned in, whether you're seeing us on YouTube, Twitch, or on Rumble, if you're on the Rumble homepage, we're live Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern and Fridays at 1 Eastern. And if you're watching on Rumble, please click that green follow button. If you're on the homepage of Rumble watching, click through to the channel, follow us because I do impromptu live streams too. So I want you to get notified. Same on YouTube and on Twitch and Kick. Luca18 just subscribed with Prime on Twitch. Thank you so much.
Great.
Josh Bellamy says, don't forget about Crooks. The house was wiped clean all the way down to no silverware being in the home. Also, a guest suggestion, Charlie Robinson from Microaggressions would pair well with Luke. Destiny just overtly called for more violence from Farrell. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give both these guys, like, who may be clipped in this. This is just my opinion. I am not mad at the stuff Destiny and Hassan are saying. I'm worried for them. I'm worried because there are very mad people out there. And I don't need to be specific. These guys are continually, willingly poking the bear, and they are coming up right against asking for it. Like, guys, I hate you. I wish nothing but terrible things for you, but I don't want you dead. Like, maybe just fucking chill a little bit, because there are people on the right that want retribution. There are people on the left that want to sow more, division. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but most importantly, just a clear kind of distinction here. We do not call for any violence. We do not want any violence. Not. And I think right now we have to be aware of anyone who is plotting it and then make the right moves in order to prevent that from happening, in order not to escalate this type of very powder keg-like situation. So, disavow any type of violence, but also most importantly, do your part as a viewing audience member to check in on your friends, make sure they're okay, and make sure that we're there for each other in a peaceful way. Yeah,
don't ruin your life for some leftoid. Then they win.
Don't fall for their trap.
Yeah, people in chat just putting together. Yes, Rex is Alex Jones's son, so go follow him. I just don't want to introduce him like that because I feel like that probably happens to him a lot, and I don't want to do that.
Well, he left like, I'm a business owner. He's his own person. Yeah.
Rhino says Dark Hambly rises. Yeah. Pacman says, good afternoon, Jeremy, Hannah, Claire, and Luke. Jeremy, I saw you're going to be setting up a TPUSA chapter in Southeast Wisconsin. I live in Southwest Wisconsin. Would like to help. I'm currently between jobs. Yeah, stick. I may not even be able to because the TPUSA chapter in Ozaki technically covers Washington County, so I don't know. I started looking into it this morning because I had a bunch of my neighbors asking me to do it. And
but I'm sure if there's an established chapter, like you're someone who could help them grow, or
yeah.
like
Whether
a high school. They do high school chapters too. I
Yeah.
don't know enough about it, but
I'm not really around the high schools like Luke is, but I think we'll see. T. Brooks says,
You live there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I
if
just
these-
meant that you had like don't you have a nephew who's in high school, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to
I
pressure
do.
him.
Yeah, you're there a lot more than I am.
I have a brother-in-law. Yeah, he's in high school. But T. Brooks says, if things happen on the left, they would be burning buildings. We just lower flags and have mass because we're
That's
not
true.
hateful. Be glad you're on this side. Yeah, I mean, again, like this goes right up into like, don't ruin your life for them. Like all these agitators that are showing up at Charlie Kirk vigils, don't be that dude that punches somebody and they fall over backwards and hit their head in the concrete and die, and you go to prison. Like it's not worth it. These people are goblins and they are never going to be happy. So just laugh in their face, make fun of them. Don't let them make you mad. Like I saw a lot of that. I was preaching a lot of that to like, people that came with me to the vigil on the way. I'm like, if anybody shows up here, don't even bother. Don't, because I heard people saying, oh man, I wish people, I was no, don't do, no. Because the
you saw
cops are going
guy
to
that
arrest
dressed
you.
up as the shooter and then came to the TPUSA headquarters and
what
started,
if somebody
like,
would have shot that
picking
guy?
up-
Like it would have been terrible. Instead, I saw he got a couple of freedom kicks while on the ground, which I'm not mad about. But like, yeah, he wore the same shirt as the shooter and trampled on the vigil. It's like
the same uniform.
that. I mean, the same. Yeah. Oh yeah, the pants too. Yeah.
Yep.
And but I was just like, every time, and then that fat black lady who did that, she got expelled from school. She was Texas Tech. Yeah. I'm like, this is the way. This is the way. Don't let these losers bring you to, it's like crabs in a bucket. They have nothing to lose. We have things to lose. Panaconda says, guys, Trantifa members are assassinating us because they disagree. Imagine if we were told that 10 years ago. Now, sadly, they normalize it. Don't let it be normalized. Patriots, time to fight back. That's why I'm saying these guys have to be excised from community, the society. And I don't mean killed. I mean shunned, just like the Bible says. Like these people, you've had long enough, by the way, to correct your bad behavior. You don't want to correct it. It's no different than that guy who was in and out of jail 14 times and then kills some poor white lady. And then everyone's like, oh, it's like, no.
It's exactly the same, because in both cases, these people are mentally ill and they're not being held to any kind of standard to keeping other people safe. And so it seems like our society is just bending over backwards to accommodate them, like either releasing the Charlotte attacker from prison because why? Or in a lot of cases, just saying like, oh, well, you should continue to fall down this dark rabbit hole where you're obsessed with your own identity and also becoming more and more consumed by brokenness and darkness. Like that is not how you help people.
Or censoring any type of legitimate, honest, rational conversation about it, which YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and all these TikTok and all these other platforms participated in and probably still participate in, as of course any kind of legitimate scientific conversation about the mental problems of a lot of these people has been shut down, hasn't been allowed to happen. And therefore it created this kind of detrimental type of situation that we're dealing with right now, as we have a major mental health crisis of individuals who are more angry and emboldened than ever.
Let me talk about, by the way, if you're tuned in, by the way, I know these guys don't want to do self-promotion, and I get that, but at the end of the day, everyone's got a mouth to feed or a job to do. So make sure you go support them. And also, one of the best ways to support this show and to get breaking news is to join our Discord. You just go to thecording.com/join, and it's $6, but whatever. Like, it's not really about the money. The money's set there as like a gateway to make sure people care, want to be there. But join the Discord because news is breaking in there faster than we can make YouTube videos on it. They're debunking stuff. We have a new moms group in there. We have a fantasy football thing in there. We have a group about everyday carry, everyday weapons, everyday like shooter training, self-defense training. All that stuff is in there. And when you join, you also support the show. It helps pay these guys salary. And it's a great community. And so I'm hoping I can call on you today to go to thequartering.com/join and join the show. That'll be the only time I mention it during the show. Just like Luke, it doesn't feel like the right time to be doing a lot of self-promotion.
Can I say, though, like one of the challenges I think right now in the post-Charlie Kirk part of our historic timeline is like we are actually called to continue our work. And I get not wanting to be like, so buy all my stuff and like whatever.
Right.
Like, I totally understand that. That's not appropriate. But like you guys have skills and an audience. It's important that you continue to bring them the news as accurately as possible and expand people's horizons. Like that's what Charlie Kirk would have done himself.
Yeah.
Which is hard. Like I know that it felt like time stopped when everything happened, but it is important that we continue to share as much information as accurately as possible about not just this, but everything.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hope the members group continues to grow, because we're getting close to a number of people in there where we can really start doing some cool stuff. Like there's a bunch of people in there now working on setting up local TPUSA chapters. There's a bunch of people who are never, interested in politics that are getting, educated on that. Like there could be a day where we have 10,000 people in there. When you have 10,000 people spread across the globe, you can really have a lot of people, making change and talking to people. And yeah, someone in chat said the Discord's growing really quick. I've been able to talk with so many great new members. Yeah. So definitely. And then the news breaks, and usually the Discord tells me when something's up. So yeah, it's $6, but it's whatever. It's
gotta
forced
keep
to show
the weirdos out, team.
Well, that's really there is a free Discord, but the paywall is really just to keep the weirdos out and to keep like journalists out and then really just like, if you're paying to be there, you give a shit and you'll be there and you'll be a member. But what do you guys make of this story? Bloodthirsty trans author mocks Charlie Kirk's looks after she was fired by prestigious publisher for joking about his murder. What I wanted to ask was, I know we kind of talked about this, but what do you think has shifted now? Is it that companies just don't want the heat? Because there's a lot of heat on companies that are like, I think Starbucks and Libs of TikTok are shining a lot of light on these companies. I feel like a mini white pill. Like companies are not saying like, well, this is okay. They're just firing these people. They're just not fucking around. There's a GoFundMe that I did a video on. I think it's on my second channel. I uploaded it. I think it was scheduled to go live at 1:00. There's a GoFundMe where it was like, I was brought into HR and they asked me about their social media post. And after a lengthy explanation of why I think I was right, I was immediately fired. I need money to pay my rent. I'm just like, inject that right into my veins. Like this person has no chance to ever understand that they're the problem. Fine. Now they're like, hey, by the way, their GoFundMe had raised $8. So it's like the leftoids aren't even helping each other. They're like,
I don't think
they're kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, good. There's a database that some people are talking about with 40,000 plus individuals that were celebrating the death here. I mean, this is how emboldened, how brazen, and how fearless a lot of these radicals and insane people actually are. Now, the media has been doing their best to try to obfuscate this. I was just going on Google News, and I was just seeing what people are talking about, if it's related to the topics we're discussing. I'll put this in the private chat right now. But this is their kind of biased, insane take. And I think another media organization did this yesterday. This is CBS News just a couple minutes ago saying workers fired, place on leave for Charlie Kirk.
Mega. Yeah, right.
It's comments. No. They just commented. They didn't do anything wrong. They just made a comment. And I'm like,
as
really?
if they're saying like RIP and the companies are firing them or something, which is obviously completely inaccurate.
That's not, they didn't just comment. They celebrated gore, death, and called for more of it. Like Destiny is, who's an insane human being.
Yeah, those are the people getting, that's a great point, Luke. Though I have not seen anybody fired like Charlie Kirk rest in piss. I've seen people get fired who are like, Charlie Kirk deserved it. More of this. It's very different than what they're saying.
Go kill his kids now. That's the type of comments that are out there, right?
That's an Atlanta healthcare worker at Children's Hospital said that and got fired. And she's like, whoa, what? It's
there
like the shovel meme.
At University of Tennessee, Knoxville, I believe, who left a comment being like, his kids are better off without him and F his wife and all of this stuff. And I saw Tim Burchett, the congressman for that area, someone was like, copied him. He's like, I'm on it, which, you know, I think it is really unifying people. Often after loss and tragedy, people want a call to action. And this did become the immediate call to action, which was like, do not let people be hateful and disgusting and call for violence in the wake of this. Like, you want there to be consequences for that. I also find myself trying to contrast it to the fallout after Luigi Mangione, who's obviously developed this like kind of sick cult following of people who are like, he's a hero or whatever, when he also killed a father of two on the streets of New York.
Who has nothing to do with drug prices and nothing to do with anything. Just
the CEO of a healthcare company, but his death changed nothing.
One of 20 CEOs, by the way. He was just like a regional guy.
Right.
He was like nothing.
And I don't remember, and maybe someone in chat remembers this, like, I think there are people who celebrated it publicly. I don't remember any sort of sizable fallout of people getting fired over this. So to your point, is this a change? Like, yes. And I don't know if it's because the video of what happened to Charlie circulated so widely.
So many graphic. That's a great point. That's probably part of it.
Right. Because then if you're like, well, they have the right to comment however they want, like, this is the image that you're okaying. Whereas
you're signing off on this. Yeah.
Right.
Ilhan Omar, by the way, in the making of this video, just released a statement about free speech in this country.
Oh, yeah? I thought she was saying that Somalia was better than the U.S. and that this never happens. Violence never happens there. You know, the reality is Charlie's death was a wake-up call for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. But I think we are actually not tolerating your hate and your divisiveness is shocking to the left because they've been allowed to say ugly things for a long time.
Wait, is she the cousin lover or the brother lover?
Brother lover.
Okay, I gotta get this. All right.
Probably both, though.
Yeah, to those claiming that for free speech while punishing and silencing those for exercise. Yeah, okay. Wait, should I say didn't you guys say, wait, what's that?
Didn't you marry your brother?
Yeah, did you? Yeah, shouldn't you be sleeping with your brother? Anyway, this isn't cancel culture. It's accountability culture. Isn't that what they said all the time? You know, isn't that what you said? They're all for. This is the other thing that, like, I would honestly really recommend everyone go watch that Sam Hyde video.
Yeah,
they're the people that are most vocal about freedom of speech don't give a fuck about it. This is what Sam Hyde said about free speech, and I thought it was really poignant. Actually, let me just bring it up, because it's in the first 4 minutes of his video. He basically talks about, like, all these shitbags who are feeling the consequences of fucking around, suddenly caring about, you know, the First Amendment. They never care. They only use it against right wingers. They don't give a fuck. Like and the reason anyone has their First Amendment right in this country is because of mostly white Christian men who are willing to die for it. Right. Ilhan Omar knows nothing about the First Amendment or freedom of speech. You know what? I'll actually play the first.
This is you.
I'll play the first couple minutes of it because it's really good.
This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is.
The free speech thing.
A few notes before we start. I've seen some Twitter posts from people lamenting, apologizing, because their last interactions with strain of autism that is that's all that needs to be said about it. The fact is, Charlie Kirk is a martyr.
Yeah, this right here.
He is a Christian white martyr. If you are Christian, if you are white, if you're a shit lib who miraculously somehow still believes in free speech, Charlie Kirk died for you. And he probably would have done it, anyway. I talked to Alex Stein a lot about him. He probably still would have done it if he knew he was going to die doing it. And we are all united now in a battle for the soul of mankind. And by the way, this is why we have free speech in the first place. It's not because of some 1960s hippie commie staged faggotry that we have free speech. It's not because Mr. Jew in a bow tie went on a bus and marched on Washington. The reason we have free speech is because at pivotal stages throughout human history, Christian white men mostly have decided that yes, actually it would be worth dying to prove a point. That's how it happened. That's how we got this. The free speech that you enjoy, to the extent that you're able to have free speech, is because of that, is because of men like this. Irony posters,
So I recommend people watch the whole video, because he also talks about how, the Constitution is kind of a outdated document now, because it was created at a time when this country was full of white Christians. It was not created at a time when 20 million foreigners were allowed across the border a year. And
we couldn't define what a woman is. I mean,
right.
It's a very different time.
Yeah.
It was really eye-opening to watch the segment.
And the day and age of SSRIs and hormone blockers.
Yeah. It was really eye-opening. Even if you watch nothing, watch the first 5 or 6 minutes, and then the first in a section on the Constitution, because
just watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's an hour. It's very, very good all the way through. And he's right. He talks about what good is the Constitution? What good does the Constitution do South Africans when black people roll up to their farms with cell phone jammers and murder their families? What the Constitution doesn't protect you against that. The Constitution doesn't protect Americans. The Constitution didn't protect Charlie Kirk. There's all sorts of hard truths in this video that I never really thought about the Constitution like that. And now he accurately predicts Ilhan Omar's tweet in this. He's like, you're going to see a bunch of people that want free speech, and then he has a whole montage of people calling for violence. It's like, these are the people that that are talking about your First Amendment. They want you dead. You know, like, you know, I don't talk about the First Amendment because I don't say anything crazy heinous like that. You know, like it comes up casually, but these are people that want to hide behind the First Amendment. And sure enough, Ilhan Omar, aren't you free speech?
Well, she's also someone who would push the concept of hate speech, right? Like, they are free speech when convenient to them, but they're for limited speech pretty much 99% of the time.
Right. This bitch probably said, you know, all the people complaining, stay calm, Jeremy. All the people who are bitching and whining about this 50,000 person database were starting the same fucking list about Trump voters in 2016. There were databases about Trump voters. I'm not making that up. Like, that happened.
Yeah, and the SPLC
and donors and stuff.
The SPLC, a nonprofit organization, runs an extremist list that they just add people to, and then all kinds of official agencies reference as if it is fact.
Right.
The left does this all the time. And again,
They
I don't want to speak to their level on every way.
Institutional money. Yeah, they also do it with our tax dollars, with the Southern Poverty Law Center, which you know, branded me and put me on that list. They made the list of the top 10 most dangerous patriots in America. They put Alex Jones on that list. They put Ron Paul on that list. They put me on that list. And they're like, look at all the We Are Change chapters they have everywhere. Look how dangerous they are. And I'm like, all we're doing is advocating for people to do their own homework and research. I'm like, we're being labeled as a hate group for just talking. This is insane.
If you go back to, I don't know how many years ago it was. I know, like, people make light of it now, and I make light of it now. Like, haha, Jeremy got attacked by a dude in a dress, even though he wasn't a dude in a dress. It was a guy who's actually trained in martial arts, who is fit. People forget, like, I'm about as milquetoast as they get. The biggest complaint of my viewers is that I'm too damn milquetoast. And it was 4 or 5 years ago, somebody tried to fucking kill me, standing while my back was turned, sitting at a board game convention. I fucking hate you. I'm going to kill you, as he punched me repeatedly and tried to punch through a plate glass window to get at me once I got away from him. That was 5 years ago. Lord knows what would have happened today. I'd probably be dead. Not to, like, borrow on, like, obviously Charlie Kirk doesn't need any more people providing fodder for why this shit's important.
Right.
But, like,
well, I think the evidence that you're providing,
it's not just for those guys.
And it's not that it just started last Wednesday. This has been coming, building for a long time, and people defended the lesser forms of violence, and they allowed people to become more and more unhinged and believe that their way of life, their ideology, the things that they want are more important than anything else on the planet, and they can do whatever they want for it. Like, that's nuts. I don't want to live with those people in my neighborhood.
Yeah, we talked about, I talk about this a lot in my videos lately too. Maybe I'll actually have like a graph, because I can't do graphics, but like, there is a pipeline that led us down this road, and it's very simple. Wild, unchecked rhetoric from mainstream media and pundits. You know, Charlie Kirk's a Nazi. 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 And eventually someone with fucking schizophrenia thinks that they're killing Hitler when they shoot him.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's a very easy, repeatable, just like Luke pointed out, 25% of this country believes that Charlie Kirk was killed by a Republican or conservative. And that number will never probably be below 20 because of the exact same bullshit. He was a groiper. He was Republican. He was a groiper. He was a groiper. He's a groiper. It doesn't matter that there's no evidence. And when you layer in like late night TV show hosts and other pundits dehumanizing people, like you get a situation where it's very easy to kill somebody. You think, the world will thank me. I'm saving trans people's lives. And I believe now, like, I love Rex. He's entitled to his opinion. I happen to believe that this was a trans radical that killed him. All the evidence points that way. Show me, if you don't, show me other evidence. You know, I'm operating with the evidence that I have. I believe that whatever this fucking loser's name was, thinks that he was saving lives by killing Charlie Kirk. There was a debate in a college campus the day of or the day after where a professor had like a bunch of students on stage who were like sharing their thoughts about it. And this one stupid lib chick was like, well, he's like, what are you afraid of? She's like, well, I'm really afraid that someone's going to pick up Charlie's work and keep it going. And I'm like, there is no saving these people. As Luke also said earlier, there is a chunk of, I never believed that until probably Thursday or Friday. There is a chunk of this population that cannot be saved. That girl who's like, I'm afraid someone's going to, what? Making people Christian and have babies? That's what she is so fucked. And people are like, yeah, but they're just college kids. Bro, they're 20. In the 60s, those people were fighting Nazis, real Nazis.
Did you see there's a clip that
40,
was
sorry.
circulating right after
hold on.
everything
I need
happened
to add
to Charlie?
another point here. Yeah.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
I'm just going to say there was a clip circulating of Charlie Kirk debating someone, and this girl on campus says, well, you're 30, you're coming here and harassing college kids. And he's like, you're 18, you're a voter. Like,
Right.
This excuse that they're in college is stupid to me.
Yeah.
But the discourse happened specifically, and I remember when, many years ago, there was
a
a
bunch of
discussion
Nazi
in this,
stuff.
a discussion in this country about you got to punch the Nazi. If he's a Nazi, you got to punch him. And I'm like, this is the most insane, unhinged rhetoric that's going to lead to a series of consequences that there's no going back from. Now, when you have teachers,
The guy that attacked me was wearing a T-shirt that said "Punch Nazis." I swear to God.
Exactly. They made merchandise off of it, and they started a national conversation. And I made videos about this being like, listen, I'm not a Nazi. I don't want to protect Nazis. But to say because someone is a Nazi and the left now calls everyone a Nazi, that you could physically hurt them and punch them is the kind of justification, is the crux of an argument of saying he doesn't believe what I believe and therefore we have to kill him and take him out. And I warn, and people are like, oh, you're crazy, you're insane. I'm like, no, this is dangerous. And now we have university school teachers, high school teachers saying, no, there's Nazis out there. The Nazis want to kill you. They want to put you in camps. James Carville, a major corporate media DNC talking head, said Trump's going to put all the black people in concentration camps on TV, on the corporate media. They're all Nazis. All the musicians, they're Nazis. Obviously, this guy was inspired and thought, he's a Nazi. We got to go take him out. And this type of delusion needs to be addressed. But sadly, I think it's only being perpetrated that much more with the left's response to all of this, which is sickening.
What about this, Hannah Claire? This is why I'm saying there is a certain percent of the population. I have a video coming out on this later. I think probably on my second channel because this infuriates me. A teacher repeatedly showed the video of Charlie Kirk's neck exploding to 10 and 11-year-olds and told them that he deserved to be killed. That happened.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I mean, this is the
like what I want to happen to that teacher, I cannot say. I
agree with you, and it's awful. I think it's wrong in a lot of ways. I will point out here that teaching is one of the professions that I think conservatives ceded ground on.
We need to get into it. Yes.
Right. You can not like public schools. You can want school choice. You can want to homeschool your kids. But there is a value to having people with strong morals and good character in public schools. I think that there are I think this is about a year ago at this point. There was a video, obviously a teacher who had done a TikTok of them coming out to their first graders, kindergartners, being like, well, last year I used these pronouns, but now I'm going to use these pronouns. Do you know what this means? I wouldn't want that being exposed to my kid, but we allowed that. So now we're getting this. This escalation has gone on for a long time. I think that we have unfortunately left schools open to people who are egotistical and self-serving. They look to have the kids idolize them because little kids look up to their teachers. This is obviously unacceptable, but we let a lot of unacceptable things happen to kids in schools. Yeah.
I do want to say, I want to read a couple of these messages and then I got to kick it over to Viva here. You guys have been so supportive and there's just a lot of messages to read. So if I miss yours, please understand, that's not the norm. But you know where I won't miss a message is at thequartering.com/join where you can message me directly. Now, I'm starting to get a lot of direct messages. I read them, but I can't, sometimes I can't respond because if I respond, it creates another thing that I have to respond to. But I'm in the threads. I'm in there every single day. You can talk to the team. We won't do call-ins today, but we will do call-ins tomorrow.
And
you can call into the
email
show,
right?
and you can email in. Yeah, if you don't want to use the chat room, you can just, once you log in, you can email the show. So I'm calling on people to go to thequartering.com/join right now and join the show, because we're going to be doing some amazing stuff with that Discord and that members area. But some messages Tank says, Crystal Ball just said this won't be as impactful because the shooter isn't as handsome as Luigi. Well, that's ghoulish. Yeah.
That's like Brian Krasenstein being like, no, the boyfriend isn't trans. Here's a video of him snowboarding. Like,
right.
What?
There's just no saving these. There's a percentage of people that there's just no saving. And people say, Charlie wouldn't want you to give up talking to them. I don't know what that's something. So, I don't. That's fine. Charlie and I disagree. Like, I think you have a finite amount of time on the planet. Talk to the people who can be saved. I'm not saying don't talk to people that disagree with you. I'm saying don't talk to these people. Like, there's no point tweeting them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That ended the conversation.
Charlie ended the conversation.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. 7 Leader says, I remember the attack. Gen Con was half an hour away from me. Former high school friends of mine celebrated it, cut all ties with them. The left has been sick for a decade. Yeah. There were people like laughing about it, making fun of me, shouting stuff at me the next day. They're like, oh, how was your night last night? And it's like, these people are deranged. Steel Fink says, I went to church for the first time in 25 years. Shout out, dude. Me too. I went on Sunday. I couldn't focus on the word of God because I was too focused on if the church was one of those affiliated with the left. Yeah, I did a lot of research. Generally, most churches have websites. And if they have anything about DEI, I asked people, I'm like, hey, does this church put up pride? I ask people in the church directly. Do these people put up like pride flags?
You're like, do you hang
you
a
can
pride
do that
flag?
too.
It's a little crazier, but you can do it.
Yeah. Do you guys because that's what one, like, I told my wife, like, no female ministers and no pride flags. But outside of that, I'm willing to go to non-denominational. I'm willing to go to whatever. And like, I just flat out asked people. I was like, hey, what's going on? Do these people hang pride flags? Do they talk about, equity and diversity, equity in this? I just asked. Who cares? Because if they do, I'm not wasting my time there.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And those are the questions we got to ask right now.
Yeah.
To make
not
sure
all
that they're
churches are good. There's a lot of these big money non-denominational churches that celebrate the same bullshit that we're fighting against. Scooter Maduder says, get them all fired so they can go back home to live with their conservative parents and learn how to be decent human beings again. Our center says, is it possible that that's why the FBI was withholding the trans identity of the shooter's boyfriend? They didn't want right-wing extremism in response? Yeah, probably, but I don't care. It's a fact of the case. In fact, it's an important part of the case. I'm not shitting on you, Senator. But like, it is possible, but I'm telling you, I don't want it, but I am worried for certain high-ranking pundits on the left. And since they continue to go live and call for more violence and take no responsibility, they're making it worse for themselves. T. Brooks says, oh, wait, I got that. You can't always be transparent when you tell everyone what you know. You're also telling the bad guys what you know. I know. And I think, like, we'll be patient, but I do want eventually, I want to know how you knew what that letter was. I want to know why, and I mean, like, in a reasonable amount of time. After the investigation's over, fine. I understand you can't put everything out there. K-Prop says, if the FBI were serious, if Republicans were serious, if Trump's in charge, why is the FBI not investigating, arresting, and the DOJ prosecuting the thousands of Democrats calling for more violence? Well, that takes time.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I want to. There would have to be some very specific. For example, there are clips of Hassan Piker very clearly calling for violence. If he were to get prosecuted for that, I would be totally fine with it. When he says, "Kill landlords," let the streets run with their blood. That is a direct quote of him. And then he whispers in Minecraft after it, sorry, that's not a get out of jail free card. When he says, rip out Republicans, eviscerate Republicans, rip their guts out, rip their intestines out. If he were to get a visit, I wouldn't care. If there's some troon tweeting some bullshit on Twitter who has no following and no whatever, I don't care about that as much. But Huck Mama says it's walk time. Go for a walk.
Aw.
Mama's in the window. Yeah, I'll let him on in a second. Since I'm in the basement level, she'll like come to the window and like poke in. Can you let Huck out, Maggie? Thank you.
I like
Okay.
that Huck is like, I'm part of the workforce. I'm working right now. Thank you.
Oh, nice. That'll fit. No, just put other stuff you can in there. Yeah, I mean, I agree. They should prosecute. There should be some example making. For example, somebody burned a Charlie Kirk banner off somebody's home. It was on their fence, and they burned it, and the fence burned. It was very likely, very close that it could have spread to the house where there were 5 young children sleeping. I 100% support them getting charged with like arson, terrorism charges, and getting like the full 20 years. There's enough people actually breaking the law that you can make examples of.
Sure.
Versus like troons. Now, will these people do their job? I'm not optimistic. But yeah, whoever burned that family's fence because they had a Charlie Kirk poster on it, there's plenty of real charges there. Arson, terrorism, give it to them. The people that, damage property or do whatever. Okay, that kid that stomped the vigil. Yeah, you can't give the guy life in prison, but you can, give him a trespassing and a damage to property, and maybe there's a 30-day maximum sentence. Give that to him. Guess what? You're going to go to jail for 30 days. You're not going to pay
It's
a
not
$45
like you only have
fine.
one thing you can charge people with. Like there are other crimes. Yeah.
You don't have to. Yeah, and I guess I'm saying all that to say, like, you don't even have to bend the law. Just prosecute 15, 20 of these people, and that'll be plenty. Anyone who actually broke the law should be prosecuted. I agree. And with that, we're going to kick it over. John from Earth says, love the live show. Stay strong, all. Yes, please follow it. That's absolutely free to do. Please go follow Hannah Claire B on Rumble and YouTube, and We Are Change, Luke We Are Change on his platforms on YouTube and X. And we'll be back tomorrow at 2 Eastern. We can talk about my first day in church. It didn't collapse. And we can talk with Melanie about, massive surge in church attendance that happened over the weekend. And also we're going to have the formal charges tomorrow of this guy. So apparently, more will be revealed tomorrow. And so we're going to kick it over to Viva Fry. Go say hi to Viva. And he's covering more stuff on this. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow.